start. Hello, my name is Tempest. Last name is Cooper. I'm here to ask you a few questions about you. So tell me about yourself, your name, a quick introduction.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Tempest. My name is Thomas J. Thomas. Yes, my first name and my last name are the same.
Okay.
So my name sign is TT. Um, so I was born and raised in Utah in Tooele Valley, right there. So like, you want to know like where I learned sign language and things like that? All
But
right.
nice to meet you, Thomas. Nice to meet you. And yeah, I just have a few questions. Thank you for sharing where you are from. I never touched Utah. I would love to visit there one day in the future. But yeah, before we start, I just have a few questions for you. I want
Mhm.
to ask, why are you doing this video? What are your goals of making this video?
Okay. So, what is my goal and why?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I, uh, my experience that I'm going to share with everyone today is about my experience with a traumatic brain injury, also known as a TBI for short.
Mm-hmm.
There, uh, it's a very rare and non-common experience for uh, for anyone just to have a TBI. But and then for my sort of recovery process to go back to from a TBI victim to a now practicing active interpreter, that is a big change. And not to toot my own horn here, but yes, it's rather rare. And my goal is not to show off, but to help other people that are struggling, that they themselves they can accomplish their goals too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thank you for sharing that, Thomas. Thank you. How did you learn ASL and why do you want to become an interpreter?
okay, so I'm going to start with the second question. Why do I want to become an interpreter?
That's
Um,
fine. Go
I,
ahead.
I, so all growing up and stuff, I just no careers seemed really interesting and fascinating enough to me. Maybe a mechanic, but then I had to learn so much, and it's not really my style. I had to go to school. At least it wasn't at that time. Um, and then when I was 19 years old, I started to serve as a full-time missionary for my church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Uh, now, missionaries get called to go all over the world. Heck, I have a brother that he's actually serving near New Zealand. So I've had one brother that already served a mission in Oregon. I have a brother that served in New York. Uh, Oregon, he was English speaking. New York was Spanish speaking. I forget the language that my brother near New Zealand is learning, but yeah. Um, as for me, I was called as an American Sign Language missionary, and so really just gave me a real love and experience of the deaf culture.
Mhm.
Now, often to help out, well, at least at that time, I served in 2008 through 2010. We would often be called in to be effective interpreters for certain situations. And I'm going to admit, yes, when I started, it was hard, but near the end, I gained some interpreting skills. And then after the 2 years were up, I'm still an active member of that church. I'm just no longer a missionary now. I have a wife and children now. I have family life now. Anyways, there, just my mother told me, "Hey, you're going to college now. Period. End of story." Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So okay, so I went to Utah Valley University
Mhm.
and started to get my bachelor's degree in ASL Deaf Studies, emphasis in interpreting. That was great. At least that first year or so, it's great. My visual acuity was so much better. It was so great. Um, I, I meeting so many people, hearing and deaf people like there at that college, and yeah, then there was, let's see, uh, even about a year after my mission, uh, I was dating a deaf girl,
Okay.
um, and things did not work out between us, and so I got married to someone else, and really, I wish her happiness and success, and before no reason to get in contact with her anymore. But at the time of my accident, we were going to one of her family reunions together. She was the only deaf person in her family. Yes, some of her other family members signed it, ish, but not that good and couldn't communicate as fluidly.
Mm,
As such, that actually influenced her signing in. For a long time,
mm.
uh, people thought I was the deaf one with my signing skills, and her is very different. I've seen her once since then, and her setting has become much better. I'm very happy for her. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm very happy at that. Anyways, but after the family reunion, we were going back. We were starting to go back home because I had class the next day, um, and all that fun stuff. And then I was driving. It turned to Jessica, "Hey, would you mind just switching with me? I'm feeling really tired. I just don't want to get into a car accident or something like that." "Oh, yeah, 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 sure, sure, no problem." And then I leaned back to try to get a few Z's, and then so Jessica was driving, just overcorrected
Uh,
and flipped the vehicle.
oh,
Now, she herself was safe, great,
uh,
awesome for her. I myself, now if I would have been set up, I'd have been safe and survived. But I was leaning back, and as such, I went flying out the window
uh,
and took the longest nap of my life,
uh,
about 3 weeks. That so yeah, that's how my TBI happened. Um, a lot of prayers, a lot of blessings, a lot of things. I finally woke up in the hospital like 3 weeks later,
mm,
and that was the start of my journey to try to heal myself.
mm.
Uh, so yeah, what's the next question?
I would go first. I want to thank you for sharing that to me. I'm happy you are survived through this. 'Cause I can only imagine what you've been through, but at least you are here to share your story, and your story is inspirational because look how God blessed you. It was like a full 360. You could have been dead, but you're not. So that is the blessing that you're able to share your story, how you became TBI. So thank you for sharing that. My next question is um, what first um well you already explained how did you learn ASL. You already finished that. Then the next question would be what was the worst advice? What was the worst advice you could think of? It could be more general anything.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Um, you know those general platitudes of like, "Hey, keep going, yeah, keep going, you can do it," or things like that. It's just they got so dull after a while. Like, yeah, 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 okay, yes, keep going and do what? What am I supposed to do?
Right.
What? Come on, someone wants to tell me?
Mm,
Okay, yeah. So that was that's probably the most annoying, and I would try to just come up with something
mhm,
to help me, but beyond just a few scant things, I couldn't help myself.
mhm.
And so if I can't help myself, I might as well drown.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And that would consider your worst advice that when they say keep going, and you like keep going what? Like I'm trying, but you just felt like by you keep going, it was very
Oh,
exhausting feeling. And you were tired of hearing the same shit, right? You wanna
yes. Yes.
I can
Yeah.
understand that where you're coming from.
It,
Um,
yeah.
so had this experience give you any PTSD? What have you found helped you from your PTSD attack?
So, no doctor has formally recognized that I've had PTSD, but a little bit of research and things, yes, yeah, I recognize a lot of the same symptoms right there. Like, yeah, like for a long time, I just was always on the lookout, or like I was always trying to be prepared or something like that. Um, uh, things actually helped me uh, and helped fight against the PTSD. Uh, it's gonna sound really strange. I'm gonna admit this, but I learned that you can actually fight PTSD attacks and their and recurring memories
Mhm.
uh, from a from a simple game of Tetris.
Okay. Okay.
So uh, there's been research studies done, and please go and look at it more yourself.
Okay.
But just audio and visual things required there, like
Mhm.
soon after a traumatic incident or being brought back, and by just focusing on the game itself and the music and putting all the pieces exactly where it needs to go, it helps kind of organize it so you're not so drenched in the pain and things.
Mm.
So, um, but yeah, check it out. I always like a few times uh, I've recognized other people exhibiting the same symptoms of a PTSD attack, and I like, hey, do this to help. And then later they've actually said thank you. Um, no, other things to actually help. Um, no, first off, that Tetris PTSD, I always keep that in my back pocket, always, just to be prepared. But uh, but actually in the recovery process, the first thing that actually was at least seemed to help me was uh, with uh, with a psychologist named Dr. Goldstein.
Mhm.
Uh, he suggested medicine. It's called methylphenidate. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Yeah, which is great, but if you take it in the same dose for so long, your mind will become more dependent on it,
Mm.
and you'll
One
have
day.
withdrawals.
Right.
Right. And so I did take it,
Mm-hmm.
that medicine, for about 6 to 8 months, which
Mm-hmm.
was great. It was actually, I was able to sleep. I was able to focus on things. I was able to get a lot of stuff done. I was able to go back to school and things. Great. Um, but then just I knew I needed a way to figure this out. Um, well, really at that time I didn't know it, but I wanted to live without that medicine. So, going on and stuff, about a year and a half after my accident, I learned about vision therapy.
Okay.
It's a slightly lesser known form of eye health
Mm-hmm.
to get the brain and the eyes to work together to strengthen that and to help better coordinate with the rest of your body. That's just a summary version of it. So that was um, so. Lo- exp- so learning about vision therapy and things, um, it was um, much better. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was uh, m- like a few things like physical things. My balance was improved so much. I actually kept a video log that's
Oh,
available on YouTube
okay.
of my journey throughout there. I made weekly videos of what we did that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's in sign language, and well, my signing was very bad because my body was very bad at the start, and everything was not planned, not scripted. Uh, but then you can see every week just
Mm-hmm.
the improvements that were made. Uh, that's one thing, and also my glasses. Growing up, I was always told I will need glasses. That was never, there was
Mm-hmm.
never a doubt, and yeah, I accepted that. My
Mm-hmm.
eyes have what's called astigmatism. For those that don't know, it's about how your eyes are shaped more like a football,
Okay.
and so we can't take in light as much.
Mm.
So, um, uh, so during the day, great, fine. But then during the night, I just have a hard time seeing. It's just so dark and things get more blurry the further out. But yeah, when I was when like soon after the accident, I was given some glasses, and they were fairly decently strong glasses. But then, like, just before I even did the therapy itself, I did what little I could see online. I did that every day, and my eye strength changed right there and reduced how powerful it was. And then, like when I started, uh, uh, well, I stopped wearing glasses when my eyeglasses changed the first time, and then I did therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Going through that process, I was able to actually stop the methylphenidate, and so I stopped that for a while. It's great, and then just the glasses I need now are much less powerful. They are to help me see farther away and for like low light situations, and that helps me a lot right there. But just that's another physical change right there, and yeah. Um, Now, do I still use medicine? Well, for about from my graduation in from Utah Valley University, uh, UVU, uh, for about a year and a half, I I did not use any sort of medicine. But then, uh, but then my wife said, "Hey, you should probably start to take some medicine, just not the methylphenidate as before, but yeah, like, you know what? You're probably right. Just to help the brain uh, work properly." Okay.
Mhm.
So I met with the local doctor, and he and the doctor agreed that yeah, the methylphenidate. I don't like giving that because it's so easily addictive and it causes early withdrawal symptoms.
Mhm.
So, so, so we suggested to do um, Adderall, a generic version that that on days I'm working,
Mhm.
yes, take take uh, the full 20 milligrams dose right there. Yes, but on weekends where my brain is not as heavily taxed, just go ahead and reduce it either like half, less, or maybe even none at all, just to try to help your brain like more self-sustaining, not so reliant on the medication. Oh yeah. Um,
But I think you still have more.
um, please.
Okay.
Um, that's the most I can think of off the top of my head. Um,
I
I
want
love.
I would like to thank you for sharing what helped you reduce your PTSD, and
Mm,
you tried different things that help you, and you figure out which one were better for you. I
mm.
would like to do my homework about the game you share with me because
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not familiar of that. So thank you for sharing that. So I already have it in the back of my head that I want to research, and I appreciate you bringing it in depth and detail and
Mm,
different route you had to go through to reduce your PTSD. So thank you for sharing that,
mm.
Thomas. My next question is, I think you kind of answered that, but it's just that, and you already, the last two, you already answered, like, what sort of therapy did you do? And do you have any medication? And you already shared what medication did, but if you want to repeat it, those two again, you can. And then after that, the last final question was any other last advice do you have? That would be the last question. So I
Okay.
guess you can kind of summarize quickly about the therapy you do and did you take any medication? And
Mm,
then the final question is what's your last advice you
okay.
have?
So, so yes, where I talked about vision therapy a lot, and I'm still a big proponent of it. That's not the only therapy I did. I like right after getting out of the hospital,
Mhm,
uh, it was it was told like, hey, you need to do speech therapy.
mhm.
Fun, ain't that? Which I understand why many deaf people don't like it. It's like, uh,
I I want
I,
to that can't beat the
I, I seriously like for many deaf people is to try to try to sound more natural. Like
right,
yeah, as for me, it was to try to strengthen my vocal muscles. That's what it was for. It was still boring. I
right,
still
right.
hated it.
It is boring. Speech therapy very
Oh yeah.
and I know I struggle to say the S's, the G
Hmm.
sound, because the way I talk, I tell people my hearing affects my speech, so I can't hear all the
Hmm.
syllables damn. So to me, I think I sound normal, but for other people who not understand the deaf culture,
Hmm.
they would say I talk funny or I'm not clear, or even me growing up, people used to bully me the way I talk. But back to you. I don't want to put too much about
Hey.
me, but once you said hate speech therapy, I show empathy. I know what that like. It is boring. It's not fun. I agree with you,
Mm.
Tommy. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I got excited we had something similar.
So
Yes,
yeah. Oh,
yes,
it's like seriously, but
yes.
yeah. Um, I did have to have some physical therapy to have some start
Mhm,
some rough start of my balance and stuff. And uh, they did, hey, you need occupational therapy.
mhm,
But just their occupational therapist, they were so busy and stuff that they couldn't fill me in. So my speech therapist uh, said that she has studied some occupational therapy and was willing to work with me. Like, okay, all right. So what do you want to? So she would ask, like, hey, what do you want to do? Like, what's your future goals? Like,
mhm,
become an entrepreneur. Okay, you need to, hey, give me a book and do some homework, and we could try to work together.
mhm,
Great. I I gave her a copy of the book. So you want to become an interpreter? Um,
mhm,
I I had two. Fortunately, I didn't realize this, but just for people who don't know, people with TBIs, like the day of, you'll have some flashes and you'll know this, but depending on how severe,
mhm.
there'll be times that you just don't remember. For me, it's about 3 to 6 months there
Mm,
I don't remember.
okay.
But during that time, I got two copies of that book, so I was able to loan her one, loan my speech therapist one and stuff, and then just I was bored. I was bored off my rock, and just like, okay, yeah, and I just skipped it because I didn't know what else to do while I waited for my classes to start up again, so I could go back to college.
Mm.
So yeah, um, I'm sorry. So yeah, what other therapies did I do? Yes, I did those two therapies, which was uh, like uh,
You go to therapy like every week, once a month, every 2 weeks.
it was every week,
Okay.
uh, near the end for these two therapies, for voice and physical therapy. It was about once a week. Yeah, interestingly enough, the vision therapy, that one incorporated some tools from from either one of these, and even some tools from occupational therapy, and combined it into here while adding like the visual receptive abilities.
Mm,
So for me, that was great. Um,
okay.
now, do I take medicine now? Yes, I
Okay.
already mentioned having the Adderall, which is great. I do recognize the dependency that can grow on it.
Mhm.
Uh, so I had to try to limit myself so I don't become addicted to it. Other things like, yes, I'll take ibuprofen
Mm,
or um, or like the generic Tylenol to
mm,
deal with pain and stuff. But my body is much more receptive to anything that I consume. Um, so yeah. Now, as for our last question is about, do I have any advice?
advice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Use whatever you have to help you accomplish your goals.
Mm,
Anything, and I mean anything. Um, Even as simple as random things. Like I already mentioned the Tetris, but also my great grandma car, my my mother's grandmother.
mm,
I only have two memories of her, just two. One, don't slouch, otherwise you'll shrink like me and become short. And two, she introduced me to the game of Pangram. Um, it's it's a very old Chinese game that's been passed down to the centuries, where you have a bunch of different triangles, and you have to try to organize them all into a specific outline.
Mm-hmm.
So um, it seems silly and nonchalant, but that um, that was actually one of the uh, one of the important activities that was done in vision therapy, not tangram itself, but that idea
Mm-hmm.
was used right there. Like I'll never forget my therapist, my vision therapist,
Okay.
was working with me at a table. Okay, now I'm gonna try something new. Okay, what? She brought out some shapes and different things, and Scarlet, I don't want you to match this outline out here. Oh, easy. What? How'd you do it so fast? This is what my great grandmother did. Tangram. Then I pulled out my phone and showed a digital version of it. Like, wow! She actually she physically took my phone and went to show uh, the head doctor there. Like, hey, check this out. What a lot a lot of patients have I can do this now too. Sit and like so she obviously brought my phone back. She did not steal my phone. Um, but yeah, um, use anything you can to help you accomplish your goals and get in contact with everyone. See what other people have, see what other people's strengths are,
Mm-hmm.
and see how you can incorporate it in yourself. Uh, I'm going to be the first to admit it sucks. It's tough,
Okay.
not a lie,
I believe you. I believe
but
you.
but um, we'll find it.
Okay.
Sometimes you might need to ask for medicine to like go to a doctor. No shame in that. No shame.
Okay.
And then you can look for physical things to help you too, to help strengthen you. Um, but yeah, but anyways, Tempest, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I really appreciate your time.
You're very welcome, Tom, and thank you for being open, honest, and raw of everything. And I felt inspired about your experience, what you going through. I just want to say your story is the inspirational, and I'm pretty sure someone who in the same shoe with you, once they hear your story, they're not gonna feel alone. Like they're the only one because look how you overcome that. And I really like your advice that you give to the people when you say just do anything, just do anything. Like it's important to find different resources. It's okay, and you're right, and I agree with that statement that you mentioned. So thank you, Tommy, for allowing me to interview you, and I enjoyed listening to your story and where you come from, and look how you overcome it. And um, and like I said earlier, you're not dead. You're actually alive to talk about it. So continue sharing your story and you will touch many people alive and just the inspiration.
Right.
Yes.
Just uh,
And
my
I,
my
I don't know if I told you this, but I am a therapist myself. That's all I want to say. I am a mental health therapist myself, and very rare in the deaf community. It's not many
mhm.
deaf therapists or Black deaf therapists. I just want to
Yes,
add the little that
yes.
I am a therapist myself. But now we can wrap it up. But yeah,
Mhm.
I really enjoyed doing this interview to you.
Awesome. Actually, Tempest, if I'm going to keep your information in mind, so if I meet when I meet others, uh, I'll hand off to you. I know you're probably busy, but let's have a referral for you. Also, I mentioned my vision therapy videos that I made. They're on YouTube right now. It's called ASL Vision Therapy Log. Um, you're free to check it out.
Okay.
Anyways, just a minor plug-in right there for people that want to dive in more. Uh, the And you can, as for the Tetris thing,
Mhm.
I can email you like actual like research, but also for other people that like don't want to read so much. I get it. I get it.
Okay.
There are a few videos online where on YouTube that if you look up Tetris PTSD, you'll
Mhm.
find it there too. Anyways, thank you, Tempest, and I'm happy to share this experience with you.
Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see that email. I'm interested in watching the video ASL version, right? You said the ASL on YouTube. So please share the link with me, and then share me other link about the game that you played at TE. I hope I spelled it right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you spelled it right, Tetris.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so please just share that through my email, and I definitely want to check it out. And I can also share that with my team. Like, just
please,
people
please.
in my team may not know about this. Because, like I said, you taught me something new today, and I'm happy I learned something new today. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure talking with you, Tempest, and you have a great day, okay?
you too.
Bye.
Bye bye.